المنظمة الدولية للهجرة واحدة من المنظمات المهمة في الأمم المتحدة، كانت موجودة في مصر من أوائل الثمانينات. عندها إنجازات قوية جدا وإسهامات في مساعدة المهاجرين سواء جوه مصر أو خارج مصر. هنتكلم النهاردة في البودكاست بتاعنا على إسهامات المنظمة من خلال ضيفنا النهاردة كارلوس أوليفر كروز، رئيس بعثة المنظمة الدولية للهجرة في مصر. أهلا بيك يا كارلوس.
Thank you very much.
عايز النهاردة أول ما هنبتدي في اللقاء بتاعنا حابب أن أنت تشرح لنا المنظمة بتعمل إيه في مصر، وإيه دور المنظمة مع مصر، وإزاي بتقدر تساعد الحكومة.
Thank you very much for this question. The International Organization for Migration is an intergovernmental organization that since 2016 is part of the United Nations. Is an organization that was created, funded back in 1951 after the World War II to support many displaced and populations in Europe that had suffered the terrific war and were displaced and scattered in different places all over Europe. So the organization was funded with this aim to help and assist these people to go to different places around the world, from Australia to Canada to the US to Latin America, but of course also to Africa and other parts of the world. When it comes to Egypt has been an observer of the International Organization for Migration since 1974. And it became a full member state in 1991. So it has been a full member state of the IOM for over 30 years now.
طب بتعملوا إيه في مصر؟
The International Organization for Migration has been active in Egypt for over the past 30 years, since 1981. Which started with the Gulf War and all the movements that were happening in the region. So with this aim, the organization has been working, assisting populations on the move since then. In Egypt is a country of origin, of transit, and destination, meaning that you have migrants populations coming to Egypt or have been residing in Egypt for years, for decades, for
من آلاف السنين.
When it comes to the work of the International Organization for Migration in Egypt, we are working very closely with the government, namely, of course, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also with the NCCPMTIP, where we and different stakeholders, different ministries, different institutions, in which we collaborate with them and assess which are the needs, which are the priorities, which are the areas in which we should focus and where more assistance and support is needed. So we are working on providing some capacity building activities to government officials, to other types of stakeholders, but we are also working on assisting migrants directly. We do it directly as IOM, but we also do it through different types of entities, be it NGOs.
إزاي بتساعدوا؟
So we assist them. We have different types of assistance. Our assistance is always very targeted and very specific and also limited in time. We are assisting vulnerable migrants who may be in a situation of vulnerability. We may assist them, providing them with accommodation, providing them with a small cash allowance, but also with providing them with some clothes, educational assistance. This is not given to them directly, but it is provided to the schools, health assistance, people in need of specific needs to be treated, some specific medical conditions and other things. But one thing that we are also assisting is all the migrant population that they wish to return to their country, that they wish and they can return to their country. So we are also providing them a ticket, but also some type of training. And this is called assistant voluntary return and reintegration. So we provide them the return, and we do an assessment together with our countries in other countries or in their country of origin to see if they require some type of assistance when they go there to establish a small business, to have some specific education or trainings. And this allows them to start getting back on their feet and generate an income to make a living out of this. And this, we have seen a growing trend of migrants who wish to return back to their country. And this is, we have received requests from the migrants themselves, but also from different embassies.
طب أنا عندي سؤال. طيب بما أن أنتوا بتساعدوا المهاجرين هم يرجعوا تاني لبلادهم، هل ده بيحصل برضو مع المصريين في بلاد تانية مختلفة؟ أنتوا بتساعدوهم هم يرجعوا تاني لمصر؟
Yes, so I would, this is something indeed that we do for Egyptians who are in other parts of the world, in Europe or in the Middle East or elsewhere, and wish to return to Egypt for various reasons. They miss their country, they're homesick, they realize that their lives is much better in Egypt than elsewhere.
بتساعدوهم برضو بالدعم المادي ولا أنهم يرجعوا؟
Indeed, we help them. We have an agreement with all the airlines in the world, or many airlines in the world, to get one-way ticket. So we assist them with one-way ticket, and also we facilitate the return into their country with airport assistance and going back to their municipalities or to their governorates, whatever they're living. But also we help them assessing their needs and tailoring their needs. So it might be someone who is a fisherman or a person who, a lady who is very good, who has developed very skilled culinary skills. We have a case of one migrant who was Egyptian, who was in Turkey and has learned very good recipes of Turkish cuisine, and he has now opened a small restaurant in Alexandria.
يعني انتوا ساعدتوه ان هو يرجع تاني
Indeed,
مصر؟
we help the person to come back, but not only this, we also help them
انه يفتح بيزنس
with some establish the business.
طب ده حاجة لطيفة جدا. طيب بالنسبة يعني هي طبعا هي قصة ملهمة، قصة المهاجر المصري اللي هو في تركيا وانتوا رجعتوا وساعدتوه هنا. طب هو انتوا بتساعدوا بس المهاجرين اللي هم راغبين في العودة إلى بلادهم ولا بتساعدوا مين بالضبط؟
Yes, indeed, Mohamed. Our focus is to assist migrants, emigrants or immigrant population. But of course, every time when we develop our projects, we also take into account the host population.
Okay.
So we are also doing community cohesion activities, and we do help also the local population in order for it to be a balanced approach.
يعني أنا عندي سؤال. السؤال ده هو يعني هو محير شوية للناس، وهسألوك بصورة مباشرة: ما هو الفرق بين اللاجئ والمهاجر؟ حابب أعرف منك ده.
So thank you for asking this question. Migrants and refugees indeed is not only a terminology, but it has a very important definitions that needs to take into account. A migrant is a person who is on the move, who is out of his or her usual habitat, out of his or her residence, moving. It could be internal migration, but it could be international migration. So I'm actually a migrant in Egypt.
أنت كمان.
Indeed.
Yeah,
yes. So and there are many migrants who are residing in Egypt. And then you have also the refugee population. The refugee population is mandated by the 1951 convention. And this is where our colleagues from UNHCR work. These are people who are fleeing conflict, who are feel some type of persecution and have to make a move in order to seek for some type of protection or an area. Yes. And Egypt has been a country which has been generously hosting both migrant and refugee populations over decades, and this is something that is really worth praising. It's also worth praising that Egypt has had a non-camp policy, and all migrants and refugees are
عايشين بحرية جوه مصر. دي هيقدروا يمشوا، يقدروا يتحركوا، كل حاجة.
They're here in Egypt with all type of freedom, and they are welcomed by the local communities and by also their own communities.
وإنهم يخشوا جوه المجتمع وإنه يتحدوا معاه.
Yes.
ممكن تاخدنا بقى في للمجتمع المهاجرين اللي موجودين في مصر والتقسيمة بتاعتهم، عددهم، كل الحاجات ديت؟
Yes, the migrant population in Egypt, as we were saying, you have Egyptians who have returned, Egyptian returnees who have been living abroad and have decided for various reasons to come back to Egypt. But with reference to your questions, you have many migrants who come from different countries around the world. As a matter of fact, there are more than 133 nationalities of migrants living in Egypt.
133 جنسية عايشة جوه مصر.
Yes, yes.
ده رقم أول مرة أسمعه بصراحة. 133.
So you have them living in Egypt. It could be in Cairo, in Giza, in Alexandria, but also in Aswan, in Luxor, or in some of the coastal towns of Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada.
كل دول بالنسبة لتعداد المنظمة ويعتبروا مهاجرين.
So you have migrants working in sports clubs. It could be in Ahlik, in Zamalek.
كل لعيبة الكرة.
Indeed. Or also some of the coaches.
ومدربين طبعا بالضبط. Okay.
In different sports, in different types of context, but also you have construction workers, you may have domestic workers.
طب كارلوس، احنا محتاجين نعرف الرقم بقى بتاع عدد المهاجرين اللي موجودين في مصر، لأن في رقم شهير، بس أنا حابب أعرف منك الرقم دلوقتي بتاع المهاجرين اللي موجودين في مصر قد إيه؟
So back in 2022, 2 years and a half ago, there was we conducted a desk review, a desk study with some academic information, but also based on information from consular services, from embassies, and from other institutions on the different population of migrant population residing in Egypt. And this, we came up with a figure of 9 million of migrants, including some of the refugees.
ده الرقم اللي هو 9 مليون اللي احنا عارفينه.
Indeed, so these include 9 million, and they're from various nationalities of some of the neighboring countries, but also from not so close countries. What at IUM we have been working and where we focus, our area of work is in assisting the vulnerable populations. These vulnerable populations doesn't reflect necessarily the 9 million, but rather a smaller percentage, which could be around the 15% or so of the migrant population, which is those that we try to assist and try to serve to the best of our abilities.
عندك رقم تقدر نقوله؟
It could be approximately a million and a half of migrants who are in needs of assistance. And again, Egypt has been generous enough to welcome them and also to cater for some of their needs.
وتدخلهم جوه المجتمع.
So we work IOM as an international organization, but there are also other UN actors, international organizations that are also working on this, but also Egyptian grassroots communities, civil society organizations, NGOs, religious entities, which are also working with them and assisting them in different types of assistance.
طب الفئة اللي انتوا بقى بتساعدوها ديت بتساعدوها ازاي وبتتواصلوا معاها ازاي؟
So we have some type of direct assistance. We have migrants coming to or knocking on our doors, contacting us through the hotlines on the phone and getting appointments for us to do.
وبنشوفهم قدامكم كتير وبيبقوا واقفين.
To do the proper assessment, to do the type of evaluation of their needs, see their vulnerabilities, what are the matching the needs of the assistance that they may require. It could be a woman who had given birth to their child and wants to go back to her country of origin, and the child needs a birth certificate. So we try to give legal assistance and guide the individual on how to obtain the paperwork and facilitate eventually the return to their country. But it could also be someone who is in a vulnerable situation and will need some type of accommodation or some type of cash assistance or clothing. So we do this always trying to provide aid tailored from few weeks to 1 month to a maximum 6 months until they get back on their feet. But we do work a lot with the Egyptian governmental institutions, but additionally we work also with Egyptian civil society and with other actors, including the Egyptian Red Crescent, including INGOs, international non-governmental organization, NGOs and other actors to provide assistance. And they have also a referral mechanism which they direct to us some of their needs or some of the needs of the individuals so that we can also assist and provide the needed assistance. We do this mainly in Cairo and Giza because it's the largest population of the country. However, we also extend the help in Alexandria, in Aswan, and in other places, working jointly with specific partners.
كده من اللي أنا شفته إن أغلب المهاجرين أو نسبة كويسة من المهاجرين عناصر فعالة موجودة كويسة في المجتمع وبتفيد المجتمع كمان.
At IOM, we believe that a safe, regular, and orderly migration can contribute to the benefit of societies. So migrants' population do bring a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of resources and other things. We have seen in Egypt businesses being established by immigrant communities, serving their own community, but the community at large. And again, what I want to emphasize is that we work trying to support those who are most in need, most vulnerable, in order to assist them to contribute for their well-being, but also for the society in which is warmly hosting them.
مصر من خلال سنين طويلة جدا كانت زي ما بيقولوا قبلة للمهاجرين، وكان في مهاجرين كتيرة وهجرات جماعية وهجرات فردية، وكنا دايما بنرحب بيهم وبيختلطوا وبيخشوا جوه النسيج المجتمعي. فممكن تكلمنا عن فايدة أو أهمية وجود مهاجرين جوه مصر؟
Yes, so Egypt has been a very welcoming country to migrants historically, and President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has been saying that they are not migrants, but they are guests to the country.
Wow.
So this is something that just with this statement, but not only the statement, also the fact how all migrants and all communities, when you are in Egypt, you start feeling as a local because you're always welcome. One of the favorite words is أهلا وسهلا, welcome to Egypt, welcome to Cairo, and indeed is something that you start feeling like a local upon arrival here, and migrants has been here for the past many years, and they have contributed in different aspects of society. You have from different people in the private sector, in the entrepreneurial world, but also in sports, in arts. You have movie theaters, conductors, or actors and actresses, and many of them have been contributing to this. And this is part of the beauty of diversity, and when people welcome you so much, it makes you feel really at home, and it allows you also to be more productive, more kind, and more welcoming towards others. Those of us who have had the luck and the chance to live in different countries and in different societies, when you are welcome, and you also learn how to reciprocate. You will also welcome, and you will develop this empathy to also welcome foreigners and guests into your house.
خلال السنة ونص اللي فاتت احنا طبعا المنطقة تعرضت لمجموعة كبيرة جدا من القلاقل والمشاكل، خصوصا بقى في الدول المحيطة بمصر. فدور المنظمة كان ايه في التصدي لهذه المشاكل ومواجهة التحديات وانتم بتتعاونوا مع الحكومة المصرية؟
Unfortunately, the region has been in a turmoil over the past year or so, and this has created additional movements to Egypt and to other neighboring countries, particularly with the war in Sudan that started on the 15th of April 2023. There has been so far more than 10 million displaced within Sudan, but also in the neighboring countries, be it Chad, Ethiopia, Libya, but also mainly to Egypt, where we have had several thousands and hundreds of thousands of Sudanese populations coming into Egypt, including also third country nationals, so migrants who were living in Sudan and who were coming to Egypt looking for safety, and this is where IOM has been trying to assist them also to return back to their countries of origin in coordination with their embassies, with their consular services, with their countries of origin, and their communities in order to return to their countries. So one of the things that we are also focusing here is try to help them with the education and with health, together with the authorities, in order to enhance the quality education and the medical services and support that they need and deserve. Migrants are part of our societies. We are migrants. Many of us are migrants, have been migrants, or will be migrants. So it's something that it depends in the context, in the time, and we just need to embrace each other and welcome each other and live together in harmony and coexistence.
طب بالمناسبة دي بقى، بما ان انا مصري وحضرتك مهاجر، انا احب ان انا اقول لك اهلا وسهلا.
شكرا جزيلا.
and welcome to Egypt. اهلا بيك في مصر ومنورنا وشرفتنا النهارده. و thank you so much.
Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا.